Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about what I believe to be some underrated games in the Resident Evil series. The games I'm referring to are both of the Outbreak titles and Code Veronica. I had a lot of help from Majima as he played with me the entire time on the Outbreak games, and without him I probably never would have finished them. Starting off with Outbreak 1, if you didn't know, this game's servers were shut down a long time ago by Capcom, but they've been revived by fans, so that's how we're able to play together. To give a brief overview of what this game is about, you can play with up to 4 players as different characters: Kevin, Mark, George, Jim, David, Yoko, Cindy, and most notably, Alyssa Ashcroft. If you aren't aware, that is Grace's mom and you see her a bit during RE9. During my time playing both Outbreak 1 and 2, I chose to play Kevin as he just seems the most simple character to learn. Something cool about these games is the virus meter, which slowly builds up throughout the level, and it raises faster when you take damage. One thing that's not entirely unique to the Outbreak games are that each character has different amounts of set HP, and their virus meters raise at different rates. I say not entirely unique, as in Resident Evil 1 and its remake, both Jill and Chris take different amounts of damage, and also deal more or less knife damage as well. The Outbreak characters also have built-in character-specific traits and items to use to their advantage. For example, Kevin has a 45 pistol, and when holding the aim button, can do a critical hit. This works with normal pistols on him as well. And the two characters Majima would play, mainly Cindy and also Alyssa, have very different abilities than Kevin does. Cindy has an herb bag that can heal more heals, which effectively gives her more item slots, and Alyssa has a lockpick to open doors with. The footage you're watching right now is from the first level, where our end goal is to blow up a street to cut off a zombie horde. Another thing I should mention is that all the characters have different costumes, so sometimes you'll see Majima using different ones. As for myself, I was using Kevin's cowboy outfit costume, but eventually I switched to his normal outfit. I did struggle quite a bit on this level as I was still trying to learn all the mechanics, like kicking zombies, which is new, and getting used to the controls as they change from game to game. At this point in the game though, I was actually enjoying it a lot. Completing the first level, however, I ran into an issue where the cutscene wouldn't play, but this isn't an issue in the later levels and was just a one-off bug, so it doesn't matter much. Next we move on to the second map named Below Freezing. In this level we actually go through the same lab as the 1998 Resident Evil 2. The goal here was to make our way through the lab and escape via the train car, similar to how you do on Claire's Run in the remake. At the end, we face a fully grown G-type monster though. What I really liked about this game were the cutscenes, as they still look good and are pretty interesting. Plus, they have different monsters like the G-type that we just fought, which never actually is shown in the Resident Evil 2 original or remake. Next though is by far the most annoying map in the game, the Hive. Essentially what happens in this map is we need to escape again, but this time we deal with a stalker enemy in the form of a leech. What makes the map annoying is that whenever you're hit by the leech, it inflicts a bleed on you, making you extremely slow and progresses your virus meter a lot. Eventually though, we made our way to the end, and sadly this took way longer than it needed to finish. The reason why is because Majima didn't have a gun on him as he was holding a lot of heals, so I had to be the one to damage the boss. I wasn't able to figure out the distance I needed to shoot from for a while, and so we just waited till it got closer to finish it off. After that though, we could freely leave.
Now I wonder.
The second to last map is Hellfire, in which we need to escape from the Apple Inn Hotel because it's on fire. This map isn't really hard at all, it just takes a little to complete all the puzzles and pick up the needed items to get out. We also actually get to explore this a bit in RE9. We finish the map off by killing a liquor boss, who is super easy to defeat, so yeah, this map isn't the craziest. Now at this point we're feeling really good, as we'd beaten all of the maps without dying or restarting once. That all changed on the final map though. Decisions. In this map we have to go through a university, and one of Capcom's greatest ideas in the early 2000s was to make all the rooms in this map spawn zombies. Infinitely. This sucked, as if we couldn't leave the room fast enough, we would end up spending our limited resources on killing the zombies and healing from their attacks. I also haven't mentioned the tyrant that chases you at certain points of this level, though he isn't really that hard to avoid, and he's pretty similar to Nemesis in Resident Evil 3 and its remake. Unfortunately, we took a bit too long trying to complete this level the first time and ended up having to restart, which cost us nearly 2 hours of our time and was a bit disheartening. The second time, however, we knew what we had to do, and were able to speed through the level with only some minor bumps, like the tyrant gaining sentience and understanding that he wasn't going to get caught in the same trap twice. Hey, buddy.
Uh,
Mother.
no, you better get your ass
Hey,
here.
get your ass over here, buddy.
Bro,
Yo.
did he leave?
What?
He literally walked away.
Hey, get your ass over here, bro. This motherfucker left, bro. He which was strange. But regardless, this level is actually really, really cool because you create a virus, or you create a antibody to the virus, and your characters become completely immune to the virus. This is a pretty neat thing because in RE9 it's referenced that the survivors of Raccoon City all got something called, you know, the raccoon virus or whatever it was, where it was black splotches on their skin and it was making them sick. It was a T virus strain, I think is what it was. So assumedly, whoever escaped canonically from Raccoon City in the Outbreak games is technically immune to the zombie virus, but not to the T virus, which is pretty cool.
Don't need this anymore.
Moving on to Outbreak 2, we started to play the first level, but the fan-made servers were undergoing maintenance for about an hour, so we weren't able to play together on the first map. No, you just like dropped dead for me. Did the same happen for you?
Yes.
I ended up completing it solo with Majima's help, telling me where to go or what I'm missing. But yeah, the first level is really, really fun as it's set in a zoo with a bunch of zombie animals like lions and alligators, and an elephant too. Pretty crazy. I really like this map. After finishing the first level, the servers thankfully came back online again, so we moved on to the second level, which is in a train line. Basically, some giant bugs were messing stuff up there, and our goal was to power up the train and escape. At the end, you also end up getting kidnapped by the queen, and so I ended up soloing it because it's not really that hard. I should mention that we were actually using infinite ammo in Outbreak 2, and yeah, I said I wouldn't cheat with beating the games, but you need to understand that we were already playing on the very easy mode, so it wasn't that hard. Plus, RE9's release date was literally right around the corner, and I had to beat Code Veronica after this game as well. Technically, infinite ammo is not a cheat either, as I never modified the game using outside tools, we just selected it from the main menu. Plus, every game in the Resident Evil series has an infinite ammo mode as an unlockable at some point, so the third level of this game is super cool to me. I think it's just based on the aura it exudes. You're just in a giant forest, and by exploring around you eventually make your way into an abandoned hospital. And you also get chased by a man with an axe, who is actually the dude at the very start of the level. He kind of reminds me of Dr. Salvador from Resident Evil 4. The hospital is full of enemies ranging from plants to hornets and zombies infected with plant roots. Our goal was destroying this giant plant on the roof and then killing this human-plant hybrid thing, which I believe is the guy's wife or daughter, and then we escape from the area. Overall, that map's amazing and I really love it. I love the area, the enemies, and the story. Next, we end up visiting the RPD, and the goal of this map was to gear up to survive a giant horde of zombies at the end and escape. We get to see more of Marvin and other RPD officers, which I enjoy a lot because it feels like we don't get that much background lore in any of the other games for these characters that are either just only mentioned and never seen, or are seen but don't get a lot of attention. This map's really easy and short, which I think is because of the infinite ammo, but mostly because it's 2 people instead of just 1. In all honesty, I think we could beat the game without infinite ammo, but we decided that it would just be faster to do it, as Code Veronica could have taken ages to complete. For the last mission in Outbreak 2, we need to escape from a facility with the help from a tyrant. Eventually though, he turns on us, so we had to escape from him through sewers. And then making our way to the surface, we needed to escort this lady from that facility and protect her until the end. I had to bait out the tyrant's attacks so Majima could carry her to the end area, and then another mutant is dropped into the freeway and absorbed the tyrant. Obviously, this section where we fought it is made extremely simple due to the fact we never need to reload or run out of ammo, but you can also just use a remote found earlier in the level to implode it, so it's not like it's impossible with limited ammo. After killing the mutant, we can then exit the level, and that marks the end of Outbreak 2. Both of the Outbreak games are really fun and very underappreciated because most people just skip them. I do wish that Capcom still had the servers up or are able to remake the game someday with the same mechanics, characters, just different graphics and movement. Moving on to Code Veronica, I've heard many things about this game before playing it. Some people really hate it because of the fixed camera angles, tank controls, or the graphics being not modern, while others really love the game, whether that be from the story, characters, or gameplay. Essentially what goes on in the game is that Claire's still looking for Chris after the events of RE2, and she ends up on an island. There's this other character named Steve, though I don't really like him because he's quite weird towards Claire.
Is he a relative of yours or something?
I really like the villain of the game though.
But I have been doing my best.
The revival of the Ash.
Such a very cool concept and execution for someone with a split personality. I personally was not enjoying the first section of the game though, in the prison area, specifically because of the metal detectors being very frustrating. The rest of the game though was pretty smooth, with the long arm enemies being the only really difficult bit. The rest of the enemies aren't that hard. There's also a few boss encounters with a tyrant that I struggled with a bit and died a few times in the process, as I just didn't understand how to get past it, and it didn't die as easily as it should have, comparatively to people I've seen play the game. I just have to mention that Wesker's also in this game, and he's purely there for aura farming purposes. He literally beats the shit out of Claire, Chris.
Long time no see, Chris.
And he also fights the villain of this game.
You're coming with me.
Eventually, Claire ends up in the Arctic with Steve, and somehow they don't freeze to death. Chris comes to save Claire by first running through the island again, and then making his way to the Arctic as well. This game's really fun, and the puzzles are pretty fun as well. None of them were super hard. There were some I had to look up, like I think 2 maybe I had to look up, but the rest I was able to solve on my own. I really do enjoy this game's story. It is really cool. Like, all the characters are really cool. I just don't like Steve. Honestly, I'm just a Steve hater, just because he's weird. But you know, I mean, some people like Steve, some people hate him, but I'm pretty sure that Code Veronica is going to be getting a remake, and I would love to see that. Like, that would be an amazing remake game. So yeah, hopefully they do that. I don't know if they will though. Also, this final fight with Chris and Wesker is just so, like, oh my god, dude. Wesker was just putting straight belt to ass this entire game. Like, every time he fought, it was crazy. He's so tough. I love Wesker so much. I'd really love to see him in a remake again, you know, because he's sort of a side villain in this game, but he's still really just enjoyable to see on screen. He's just a great character overall. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm not sure when the next one will be out, and I don't know what it'll be, but hopefully soon-ish, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching.